Meanwhile, the Yavana, he wants to control. He was enemies with King Prataparudra. And he was enemies especially with the governor of that province who Lord Chaitanya was meeting with. He had spies. And one of his Yavana spies came back to the Yavana governor. Is the story getting suspenseful? Thank you, thank you. He explained what's happening. This Yavana spy came to his master and said, "Do you want to hear what I saw?" He said, "Yes, what did you see? What did you see? Tell me everything." He said, "Coming from Puri, there's this mendicant who's traveling by foot. There's hundreds and thousands of people following along with him. I've never seen anyone like him. He is inducing everyone to raise their arms and cry out the names of Krishna and Hari. Everywhere, everyone, in all directions, they're all crying out the names of Hari. This mendicant, he's very large in size. He has a beautiful golden complexion with large arms that extend below his knees. His beautiful lotus-like eyes are constantly brimming with tears of love as he's chanting holy names. And all these people, he controls their life just by his beauty and his mercy. People don't care anything. They're all giving up their homes, their occupations, they're giving up everything just to follow him. And all these people, what I'm seeing, you can never understand. You'll never understand this. Everybody is crying and weeping and rolling on the ground as they're chanting Krishna's name. The Yavana spy, he said, "Master, I can't explain this. You'll never understand. You can only understand if you see it for yourself." Then the spy started weeping tears uncontrollably. His limbs started shaking. His hairs were standing on end, and he rolled on the ground right in front of his master, screaming out, the Yavana governor, he was deeply affected by this. He called for his secretary. He said, "I want you to cross the river and arrange a meeting with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and me." So the secretary of the Yavana crossed the river. Now, the governor of King Prataparudra's province was very much concerned. What is happening here? The secretary approached. As soon as he saw Lord Chaitanya, he fell to the ground, offered his obeisances, and started crying. And then he said to the governor that my Yavana governor wants to meet Lord Chaitanya, the sannyasi. He's willing to come here to meet him. immediately. The governor said to the secretary of the Yavana, "This is amazing. He wants to see the Lord." He said, "He wants to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, certainly he is welcome to come, but he can bring no soldiers, he could bring no weapons, and he could only come with 4 or 5 personal assistants." The message was given. The Yavana governor crossed the river, dressed in the clothes of a Hindu, just so that it would relieve any suspicion that he had ulterior motives. He hated Hindus, but to see Lord Chaitanya, he was willing to wear the clothes of a Hindu. What was this all about? When King Prataparudra's governor just saw him coming, he was astounded. What's this Yavana, who was a cow killer, who was violent and cruel and hateful, just by hearing about Lord Chaitanya, he was completely transformed and purified. Just by hearing about him from one of his spies. That is the power of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Srila Prabhupada explains that this is the power of remembering the Lord. Even he didn't see him, even he didn't meet him, just by hearing about him, his heart was transformed. And similarly, in the Hare Krishna movement, Prabhupada says, just by giving people the remembrance of Lord Chaitanya, their ecstatic love can awaken. Even a Yavana. Srila Prabhupada gives all credit to Lord Chaitanya. He said when he went to the Western countries, they were all Yavanas who were eating meat, intoxications, gambling, illicit sex, and so many other things. But just by hearing about Lord Chaitanya and receiving Lord Chaitanya's mercy through this process, their lives are transformed. They're chanting the names of the Lord with love. When that Yavana governor saw Lord Chaitanya, immediately he fell in full prostrations at the feet of the Lord. And then tears poured from his eyes, his hair stood on end, his limbs trembled. He rolled on the ground and he loudly cried out the names of Krishna. The Vaishnav governor fell at Lord Chaitanya's feet while this was going on and clasped his feet and said, "This is your mercy, my Lord. This is your mercy." His cruelty has turned into gentle compassion. His hate has turned into love. His arrogance has turned into humility. This is the transformation of the Lord's mercy upon even the most fallen soul. He surrendered his life. This arrogant fool who thought no one was better than him, he looked at Lord Chaitanya with folded hands and tears in his eyes and said, "I am most fallen, I am most ignorant, and due to my sins I have taken birth in a family of Yavanas. If only I could have taken birth in a Hindu family, I could have been associating with you all these years. But because of my condemned condition, I cannot do so. Therefore, I have decided I will commit suicide. I will end my life. Lord Chaitanya told him, no. Lord Chaitanya only gave him one message. He said, all you do is you just chant the names of Krishna. The Yavana ruler, he was, after chanting Krishna's names, he begged from his heart of hearts, please give me some service. Order me how I can serve you, my Lord. I accept you as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya turned to Mukunda Dutt and indicated that he should give him service. Mukunda Dutt said, what you should do is, Lord Chaitanya needs to cross through your kingdom. Make all arrangements so that he could cross comfortably and safely. And then after you do that, then we'll give you another service. Now, I have told this whole story just to come to this point. Srila Prabhupada, in his purport, describes, this is the result of sincerely chanting the holy names of Krishna, is we have an enthusiasm to serve. And Srila Prabhupada says, this is the test of how we're chanting Hare Krishna. The enthusiasm in which we have to serve. If we're chanting offensively, that enthusiasm may not be nourished. But if we're chanting sincerely, then it must nourish that desire, that eagerness to serve. In fact, our acharyas even give a translation of the Mahamantra. Actually, the Mahamantra is just invoking the names of Radha and Krishna. But the spirit and the result are given in this translation. Because Srila Prabhupada often said, in Krishna consciousness, the ends are the means. What is our goal? To serve. What is the way to achieve the goal? To serve. What is the goal? To chant. What is the way to chant? To achieve pure chanting? To chant Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explained that actually the activities of the Hare Krishna movement are the activities of the spiritual world. Sometimes Prabhupada said, in one letter I was recently reading, there was a very empowered sannyasi who was Prabhupada's disciple. Previously, he was actually a great yogi. And he had many, many people who committed their lives to him. And he was very, very popular, very attractive person. He was the guru. He was teaching Kundalini Yoga and other asanas and like that. And then he happened to be at a fair and he met this one lady devotee, Govinda Dasi. And he heard the chanting of Hare Krishna. He got some of Prabhupada's books. He read Prabhupada's books and realized, I'm a cheater. I'm not a real guru. I'm not in any parampara. And not only that, love of Krishna is the real goal of life. It's obvious. He was a guru in the impersonalistic school. And he was empowered. And he read many books and many shastras. But when he read Bhagavad Gita as it is, he understood, this is it. This is the ultimate. This is the supreme. And what did he do? He surrendered all his disciples to Prabhupada. He had a meeting with all of them and explained, and it was a serious meeting because they were giving their lives to him. He was saying, I'm not your guru. I am going to surrender my life to be a disciple of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And I can't tell you what to do, but it is my strongest recommendation to all of you to become the disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And all of them accepted it. In fact, even before that, he transformed his whole ashram practically into kirtan, Nam Sankirtan. That was their main thing, just doing kirtan. He became Prabhupada's disciple. What was I saying? Yeah, I mean, before.
The reason he came to this point.
The reason I came to this point. I'm not testing them, I actually forgot.
The reason he came to this point, what was his story?
Service attitude, yes. It's easy to forget about the service attitude. So it was very wonderful. This devotee just gave he gave his own life and all of his followers and all of his wealth and all of his property, everything. He just gave it to Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada was very, very pleased. Service attitude. We are not proprietors, we're servants. And when we chant the holy name, this is the spirit in which we chant. My dear Radharani, my dear Krishna, please engage me in your service eternally. So Srila Prabhupada explains herein that this is the test of our sincerity. How we're developing this eagerness, this enthusiasm to serve. Prabhupada wrote a letter. Prabhupada wrote many, many letters. Yes. Thank you. Now they're all followers of Prabhupada. But Srila Prabhupada was getting information that those who were the followers of this sannyasi, they were claiming that of all Prabhupada's followers, he's the only pure devotee. Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter in reply to this. He said, yes, this sannyasi, he's a very advanced devotee. I consider him a pure devotee. But he's not the only pure devotee. That is wrong. We must stop this thought. Prabhupada said, all my disciples are pure devotees. Because they are all sincerely following the principles of devotional service. One who is, as Prabhupada in another place said, one who is aspiring honestly and sincerely through the right means for pure devotional service, that person is a pure devotee. On the highest level, a person who has absolutely no material desires and who loves Krishna unconditionally is a pure devotee. But one who is following the process carefully for that purpose is also considered a pure devotee. So Prabhupada did not like this type of sectarianism, that my leader is better than your leader. My leader is more advanced than your leader. My leader is more pure than your leader. Because he understood this sectarian spirit could divide our society and create animosity, unhealthy competition. He said, yes, the sannyasi is a very great devotee, he's a pure devotee, but never think he's the only one. They're all pure devotees. Harivo. That was Prabhupada's spirit. And he made this very emphatic in this letter. Because that is what, it is that spirit of respect that keep us together. Amanina manadena. The Yavana ruler, he made every possible arrangement to serve the Lord. He said, I'm going back to across the river, I'll make all adjustments. He went. The next day, he sent back a royal boat, beautiful boat, to bring Lord Chaitanya across the river. And Maharaj Prataparuja's agent, his governor, was on the boat with Lord Chaitanya. He was struck with wonder. What has happened? This man has completely changed. When they got to the other side, the Yavana governor was standing at the bank to receive with all honors Lord Chaitanya into his kingdom. He performed all sorts of auspicious rituals to welcome the Lord. Now they had to take, and then he provided a beautiful boat with a nice room inside just for Lord Chaitanya to sit. But they had to go a long way up the river to where Lord Chaitanya was planning to go. The Yavana said, this is very dangerous. This particular river is plagued with pirates who plunder and kill anyone who comes through their area on this river. No one goes through that river. It's very dangerous. So the governor said to the Lord, I will go with you to protect you, personally. The Yavana governor got on the boat with Lord Chaitanya, and he called for 10 other boats filled with military to escort Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through those dangerous waters. And when they reached the very end of his kingdom, he surrendered his life to the Lord, ready to render any and every possible service to the Lord and his devotees. That is the transformation power of the holy name of Krishna and Lord Chaitanya's mercy. And from there, Lord Chaitanya easily crossed into Panihati, where he met with Raghava Pandit. And with all the Vaishnavas of Bengal, gradually they had the Nam Sankirtan. Stories like this give us a little glimpse into the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and give us some deeper appreciation of what our beloved Srila Prabhupada has given us. This is the basis of our spiritual progress. Our enthusiasm to serve, and our developing a taste to hear and chant the names and glories of the Lord. These two things. In the association of devotees who are of a good disposition, these qualities naturally flourish within our hearts. And it is for this reason that Srila Prabhupada has opened these temples all over the world, to give people the opportunity to be in the association of devotees, to learn the philosophy and science of the goal of life, to learn how to purify their hearts through the Yuga Dharma of chanting Hare Krishna, and to develop a humble, sincere, enthusiastic attitude to serve. Savai pungshang parodharmo yato bhaktir hokshaje ahoitakya pratihata yagatmasu prasidati. The supreme occupation for all humanity is loving service to the Supreme Lord. Such service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Let this be our aim. We have many anarthas. We have cultivated them for many, many births. They're not easy to get out. But if we keep our focus on the aim and remain united for that, the mercy of the Lord will make everything possible. We should never allow ulterior motives to come between us. It is a great offense to the Lord in our heart, and it is the greatest disruption to the Lord's mission of spreading love of God within this world. It takes a tremendous amount of sincerity, a tremendous amount of tolerance, a tremendous amount of forgiveness, and a real desire for humility for devotees to continue to work together. But it's the supreme satisfaction for the heart and the soul to experience that. How is it possible? We must put aside our own agendas, our own egos. And we must learn to become one at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada as we serve together, serve one another, be instruments of compassion to the souls of this world. And that is all possible when we learn to find joy in chanting Hare Krishna together.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.